Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday evening series of classes from the Granite Family History Center in Sandy, Utah. Tonight, we have an absolutely exquisite pleasure of listening to Bob Taylor. And Bob is the co-founder of One in a Class, the only one in its class, and also the best in its class, the Family History Guide. And Bob is going to take us on a tour of that tonight. Bob's been doing family history, I think, since he was about 3 years old, from what I understand. And he's been doing it an awful long time. He's got an incredible background, and what many people don't know, he's also an incredible jazz musician. And we miss him around here. And but what he has done with the Family History Guide is absolutely incredible. And the guide, and he will tell us about that, it keeps evolving and it just keeps getting better. So it's a pleasure for us to have Bob here tonight. Just a quick reminder that these classes are recorded, and you can get the recordings on our Granite Family History Center website at www.granitefhc.com, and go on the website. I'll put that up in the chat so you'll have a hard copy of it. Tonight, what we'd like to do is hold the questions until the end of Bob's presentation. And you can also enter questions into the chat, and we can check off on those also at the end. So it's our pleasure to introduce to you Bob Taylor from the Family History Guide. Bob.
Thank you very much, Bob. And a shout back to Bob Ives for all of his terrific legwork in getting the Family History Guide off the ground and converted to a nonprofit organization. So it's been a great journey. So this evening, we'll go over some of the highlights of the Family History Guide, help you get a little more familiar with it, and perhaps see some ways that you could use it or implement it in your wards, with your friends, family, or by yourself, whatever works for you. So I'm going to use a little tool here. It's called What's Inside the Family History Guide. This is a brief slide deck, and I'm just going to use it to keep me in the loop of what's coming up next. So we'll go ahead and flip through here. So first of all, overview video. You notice on the home screen, this is the home page for the Family History Guide, thefhguide.com. And it has kind of a 1, 2, 3 button series here. So the first button, number 1, is for an overview video, and this is on our YouTube channel. So when I click this, it goes to the YouTube channel and it plays. So it goes through that video. You notice I had closed caption turn on. We have our YouTube videos available in many different languages. We've done some closed captioning through YouTube with some translations. So they're available in a lot of different languages as well. So that 2-minute video is a good way to get someone familiar with the Family History Guide, what it's about, in just 2 minutes. Okay, number 2. We'll go back here, and yes, the next thing is the tour. So when I click the tour, notice in the upper left here, you'll see that a panel opens up with a bunch of links. And this is basically like a self-paced guided tour for the Family History Guide. So you have all these links here. You can click whatever you're interested in and just, browse through the links there to learn what you need to and what you want to. This is a good way to get a friend an overview of the Family History Guide in a little more depth, because you can pick and choose the topics that you want to go through. And again, it opens up in a panel here on the left. The links take you, first of all, to open up different topics, and then there's also some additional links farther on that help you go inside the Family History Guide. Number 3, I think that's where we are now. Yes, get started. Okay, so the Get Started page, you can click that, or you can also select Get Started from the intro menu. For Get Started, the idea here is that there are many different ways to begin family history, and not everyone wants to begin the same way. So we intentionally don't try to force everyone in through the same gate or the same channel. What we do is we open up some possibilities for people. So the Get Started page is basically an exploration page. So it says, how do I, and then basically you pick something that you might be interested in. For example, photos and documents. And how do I collect family records from others, for example? And it takes you right to the place in the Family History Guide where you can start doing that and learn step by step. And it opens up in a separate window so you can close it when you're done. So the idea there is that it's focused towards the individual user. So the user can decide what they're interested in and then explore the paths that make sense to them. People have very different motivations for family history. Among my daughters, for example, one daughter is very much into research. Another daughter is very much into photographs. And so taking a completely different tack is what works for them. So that's the Get Started page. Okay, let's see what's next here. Menus. All right, so across the top, you'll see a series of menus here. When you mouse over them or hover over them, you'll see the menus dropping down. And this way you can get to practically any place in the Family History Guide that you need to, just by using these top menus here. Sometimes people ask us if there is an app available for the Family History Guide. And the answer to that is no, there's not an app, because basically the Family History Guide recognizes what type of device you're using, whether it's a desktop, laptop, mobile phone, or iPad, and it adjusts the screens accordingly. So let me demonstrate how that works. If I take my browser window and start squeezing it to the left, you'll see it reaches a certain point, and then the menus across the top disappear, and you have the familiar 3-line item there. When you click that, then the options appear on the left-hand side. And this would be like what you would see for a tablet. And then if you squeeze it all the way in, it approximates what you would have for a mobile phone view. So if your menu items across the top should ever disappear on you, it's probably because you have your browser window set too narrow, and you can just open it back up and see what you need to see there. Languages. All right, I'm going to go back to the home page here. By the way, the secret of getting around and finding your way back to the home page, you click this logo in the upper left. So that's what I click to get back here. If you're ever lost or disoriented, if you need to get back to the home page, just click the logo in the upper left. Just below the logo, you'll see a Select Language button. So when I click that, it opens up into a box, and I can pick pretty much any language out of 100 where I want to display the Family History Guide. So if I wanted it in Spanish, for example, I would click there, and you've got the Family History Guide in Spanish. And I can click back to English. There's also other translations available. As I mentioned before, our YouTube channel has a lot of translated videos, and there's other places in the Family History Guide that have some language-specific resources. But most of the time, we're using Google Translate to do the localization and translation for the different pages. If you click on a resource, for example, on somebody's website, you may be able to translate their website as well, but it would not translate PDF documents or things that are not translatable directly by Google Translate. Search. Okay, in this little light blue magnifying glass, if I click that in the upper part of the menu, then you can do a focused Google search. So this searches only within the Family History Guide. It's not a global Google web browser search type of a thing. So if I wanted to know where adoption records are in the Family History Guide, I could click and then click that link, and I go immediately in the Family History Guide to where we discuss adoption records and how to use them and find them. So that is a good way to find your way around topics and so forth, especially if you need to find something or you're demonstrating for somebody else. Perhaps you're at a family history center and you want to find out some quick tips on the England census or whatever. This is a good way to do it if you are not that familiar with the menus. Today's tip, all right, just to the right of the magnifying glass, today's tip. I click that and we see a tip of the day. So we have this tip of the day runs Monday through Friday in the morning, and a different tip on many different aspects of family history and genealogy. And these are all stored in a tips page. So if I click this link at the bottom of the tip that says see all tips, it would open up a page that's got all of them going all the way back to a long ways. And even from 2020, you could open up that whole year's worth. We have almost 600 tips of the day on a wide variety of topics there. All right, next up, in the intro menu, frequently asked questions. Go down to FAQs here. And this is a little similar to the Get Started page. So you can click a topic or category here. And for example, what's our relationship with Family Search? We were talking about language support. How do we do presentations and training with the Family History Guide? So lots of basic questions about the Family History Guide. You can find the answers here. And this is good if you're needing to explain more about the Family History Guide to someone who's not familiar with it. Topics. Okay, also in the intro menu, almost at the bottom, we have a topics link. And if you're old enough, shall I say, to remember the yellow pages, this is a bit similar to that, where you've got this alphabetized listing. So here we saw adoption records again, African-American research. So you can alphabetically see what type of topics are available and click directly to go through to those. Very handy as well. Features help. Let's go back to the intro menu. And this is a good page if you want to know a little bit more in depth about certain features in the Family History Guide. So this has an A, B, C, D type of a thing. So you can get more information about each of the main features in the Family History Guide, and you can read through them as you like. The categories are listed up here, so you can go to them quickly if you want to. Learning system. Okay, we'll go back to the intro menu, and about halfway down, we have this piece called the learning system. So as I scroll down to this picture, this is a good way to visualize how the Family History Guide is organized. You could think of it as boxes of information. So large-sized boxes are called projects, medium-sized boxes are goals, and smaller boxes are choices. And inside the choices, you have the resources, step-by-step instructions, articles, videos, that type of thing. So projects, goals, and choices. All of the learning elements of the Family History Guide are organized that way. So to show you that in action, we'll go on to the next thing, and we'll go to one of our learning paths and visualize or take a look at projects and goals. Okay, the learning paths are up here: Family Search, Ancestry, MyHeritage, Find My Past. And the idea is you can learn just about anything you want to about each of these platforms using the corresponding learning path. So you'll notice that all of the numbered things here are projects. Project 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And same with Ancestry, you've got these numbered projects. So those are the large size boxes of information. We're going to go inside project number 1, family tree, and just give you an overview of the structure of the goals. Remember, the goals are the medium-sized boxes of information. So here we go. Okay, the way to find the goals is across the top. They're all listed out here. We're currently in goal number 1, sign in and navigation. But there are other goals up here. For instance, if you wanted to learn how to add ancestors to family tree, you click goal number 7, and here you have the steps and screenshots and that type of thing. Let's go back to goal number 1. And we are going to talk about choices. Remember, these are the smaller boxes of information. We have projects are large, goals medium size, and choices are the smaller ones. Okay, so if I scroll down a bit here in goal number 1, you'll see here's a choice A, sign into Family Search, move around the screen, and you'll see the step-by-step instructions and links to articles and even videos later on. So the thing here is that some people like to learn by going step by step. Other people want to read an article about it, or you can do both. You can follow the instructions, read an article, whatever works best for you. There's also a summary before at the start of each choice, where you get a bullet list of the types of things that are discussed in that particular choice. And you have exercises at the end of a choice. So in the exercises, if you are good at this particular choice, you could sign into Family Search. If you're proficient, after signing in, you would be able to display your family tree view and move it around on the screen. So this gives you a way to practice and measure what you've been learning and your skills that you're accomplishing. Okay, so we could scroll down farther and see additional choices, but there's an easier way to do that. If I go up to the top in this header area here, there's a Close Choices button. So notice what happens when I click Close Choices. Now I see just a list of all the choices A through G, their titles, and all of the intervening text is hidden, so you can just focus on the titles. So you can browse through this and say, okay, this is what I want here, customize my tree view. And if you click on that title, then you see all of the steps and resources and videos and that type of thing. And you can click it again and hide it. If you go back up to the button, the text now says Open Choices. So whereas now they are all closed, if you click Open Choices, all of the text for all the choices is restored, so you can see all of that again. One other thing to be aware of here is for many of these goals, we have show me videos. For example, some people like to actually watch a demonstration of the mouse and the cursor and so forth moving around as someone is going through the menus and the tools and that type of thing. So you could use a show me video, and these are housed on our YouTube channel. So I'll click that, and I'm just going to fast forward a bit so you can see how the cursor moves around here and the screens are adjusted and as they do different types of tasks in the Family History Guide. So that's a good way to get an overview or to dive in even deeper to particular skills that you're learning. Okay, so that's a look at choices and projects, goals, and choices. As I mentioned previously, that's the way the learning system is structured in the Family History Guide. And it's the same type of model for all of the different projects. So if I picked any particular project, let's go that one, let's say, then you're going to see goals across the top, and you will see choices down here, and you will see a closed choices button and open choices. So it all works the same way, the same type of idea. Print feature. Okay. Also in the top, you're going to see a print button. So sometimes people ask us, is there a printed version of the Family History Guide available? And the answer to that is no, because it would be A, humongous, and B, it would be a real pain to try to keep that thing up to date in addition to the regular website itself. But we do have a print-friendly feature. So watch what happens when I click this. It generates a print-friendly page. So the idea here is that you can eliminate particular things. If I click these things, they disappear off of the menu. And if I open, if I undo, then I can get them back again. Okay, I'm going to go actually over to project number 1 because it has some graphics and things that I wanted to show you. So suppose we have this view open here and we go to print. It's going to generate the page again. And it's got a graphic here. You could actually hide the graphic or hide any particular element you wanted to and go back and undo. And you notice that the graphic, oops, I didn't click it. There we go. And notice that the graphic is back again. So you can print to paper, and you can also print to PDF, or you can scale the print. So this gives you a lot of flexibility in what you print, so you can get just targeted results in what you're printing. Photos and documents. So we talked about family tree, for example. Goal number 2, memories, has a lot to do with photos and documents. So in goal number 2, you see the goals across the top. One of these goals is how to add and tag photos in Family Search. So it is a bit tricky to remember exactly how to do that if you haven't done it in a while. It's a bit of an involved process. So if I click that goal, then you've got your step-by-step instructions for adding photos, tagging them to identify who's in pictures, links to articles, how to get rid of tags, that type of thing. So all you need is pretty much right there in front of you. Documents, same type of thing, how to add documents to memories. There's also a section on adding stories, which is very helpful. You can search for stories. And one thing about the Family History Guide is that we do have links to lots of cool websites that are very useful. So the All the Stories site is a way to find and gather stories that have been written about your ancestors that perhaps you may not know about. Write a Life Sketch. This has some great writing tips as we scroll down. How to write personal sketches, how to keep a journal, to record what you're going through in your own memories and so forth. Okay, and so the others have similar type of things. So we could go to Ancestry, for example, goal number 3, and you could get create and edit stories from Ancestry, and you would get the steps and screenshots and so forth for Ancestry. Or if we were back in Family Tree for Ancestry, notice that all the screenshots there are the Ancestry screenshots, and you've got the navigation tools for, you know, doing all of the things you need to do in Ancestry. DNA projects. This is another good one. So I'm going to go to, first of all, to Family Search, and you're probably aware that Family Search does not sell or have a DNA kit itself. But what it does do is it does have some articles and some learning tools and things like that. So in the DNA project, we first of all have some shared goals. This basic genetics and research, that's shared in all of the DNA projects, whether it's Ancestry, MyHeritage, or Find My Past. So you can learn and get an overview about DNA research and take a DNA test and so forth. I'm going to hop over here to Ancestry DNA. And you'll notice that after you've got the basics learned, then we're talking about ancestry specific topics. So this DNA matching is what you would do with the results that you get back from your Ancestry DNA test. How do you map your ethnicity? How do you explore DNA matches with cousins and relatives and so forth? How do you get more out of your test results? What DNA research tools might you find interesting? And it can get pretty involved. So if you're serious about DNA research, this is a good place to go. Also, adoption and DNA. And had a Elders Quorum lesson just on Sunday where the instructor was giving a really heartfelt testimonial, I guess, of DNA testing, because his grandmother was actually able to find her biological parents that had eluded her for her entire life up until like 5 years ago. And so it was a pretty faith promoting type of a thing. So adoption and DNA are great matches there. Research projects. Okay, this is project number 4, and it says discover or research in all of the number 4 slots. So we'll go here to number 4, discover. And the shared projects that we have here are the ones that don't say FS at the end. So get organized, learn the basics, form a strategy, search skills, solve problems. These are all available, and they're actually identical among Ancestry, MyHeritage, Find My Past, and Family Search. So we'll take a look at one of them right now. We're in Get Organized for Research, some tips on organizing your materials, how to stay organized. Learn the basics. This is a great place if you're just starting off with research to get going in the right direction. So one of the nice things about the Family History Guide is that we provide industry-leading and you might consider best of the best articles. So when you're learning how to do research or learning any aspect of family history, you don't have to go Google search yourself or kind of reinvent the wheel or build a building from the ground up. You can rely on the resources that the Family History Guide has put together to give you a head start and point you in the right direction. Here's form a strategy, also very helpful. And these are introductory videos. These are just like 4 or 5 minutes long, but they're a great way to introduce the particular goal that you're working on. And remember, you can do closed choices to find, okay, that looks interesting. So you can do close and open choices as you like. All right, the next one is partner research tools. So basically that would be Family Search, Ancestry, that type of thing. So for example, I could click this Family Search Research Tools. I'm going to do a closed choices here. And here are all these tools that are available from Family Search: genealogies, the Family Search catalog, books, historical images, the Family Search Research Wiki, surname lists. All of those are available with step-by-step instructions to help you. Let's go over to Ancestry just for reference. And here, if we look for the AN, you've got this tips for using or searching ancestry records or collections, how to set your home page options, and so forth. Knowledge base. There's 2 knowledge bases. One is United States General, and the other one we'll get to later is called countries. So in United States or General knowledge base, if we go up here just below Discover or just below number 4, either way, is a knowledge base. And this is sort of like a snack pantry of knowledge. You might think of it that way. So across the top, we have all of these different categories. How do I get through brick walls in my genealogy? And you can get these bullet items. And this is the way we've organized the knowledge base, is that it has just a lot of these different bullet items that you can take and read very quickly and think about. What is cluster research? So you can kind of raise your family history IQ a bit at a time simply by digesting these kind of cool nuggets of information here. There's lots of different topics across the top where you can explore or target what you need to know about. Goldie May, right? This is just for Family Search. Goldie May is a Chrome extension, and you notice I have it up here. And I'm actually, in the Family History Guide, we have the documentation for Goldie May. Goldie May is a partner of ours, and they link to the Family History Guide when they're helping you use their program. So basically, Goldie May is an intelligent research assistant. So it asks you questions, and based on your answers, it guides you in certain directions and paths. A lot of it is using census records. That's probably the backbone of Goldie May, but they're branching out into different records as well. So if I click here, it's going to ask me to log into Family Search, and then I log in, then it goes through record searches and it gives you advice step by step. So I'll leave that to you to explore, but it's definitely a cool genealogy tool, Goldie May. And it's free, it's a free extension. I might mention that all of the tools that we recommend or link to in the Family History Guide are free, with the exception of Ancestry, MyHeritage, Find My Past. But of course, if you have a Latter-day Saint account, those are free to you as well. And the idea is that we don't want to get in the business of sponsoring, certain programs. We want it, not only the site to be free, but as you use the site, we don't want you to end up in paid areas where you're blocked and you won't be able to find out what you're hoping to find out unless you pay a fee or a subscription. Surname ebooks. Okay, back up in the Family Search menu. These are fun. You can look for surnames in these free online books. So if I go down here to, let's say Allen surname, and click that, it's going to open up a book. And this is from the Hathi Trust collection of thousands and thousands of books. So here we've got Jira Isham Allen, who was a pioneer in the state of Montana and the Dakotas. So you could read through his biography, and these are free. You can download them and so forth. Ainsworth, it's another example, but this goes to a site called the Internet Archive, and you can page through these books. And this Ainsworth family is in New England. So these books are a wonderful way to find out nuggets of information and perhaps find out things about ancestors that you have, or neighbors of ancestors that you have. These are all available. And notice I just got through a very small portion of that. And we have an alphabetical list where you can jump to different letters of the alphabet and locate who you need to find there. Partner apps. All right. So first of all, at the very bottom of these learning paths, you can see a Family Tree app. So if I were using Family Tree on a mobile phone, this would give me the step-by-step instructions for how to do that, how to get it set up, downloaded, navigate, that type of thing, all the goals across the top. And of course, most of this information is specific to mobile phones because the formatting is much different. Likewise, there is a Memories app. Also, there's an Ancestry app. So you have all the instructions for using Ancestry on a phone, all the goals and so forth. All right. Activities. Okay, we've gone past the learning paths here, and we're over to the activity section. The Family History Guide has over 200 activities for family history. So if I go to family, for example, here across the top, you see all of these different goals. These are categories of activities. Right now I'm in anytime activities. And these are basically activities that you can do spur of the moment, take very little preparation. Most of them have either a video or a graphic with steps that help you do that particular activity. Plan ahead, social media, service activities. There's also Latter-day Saint activities targeted towards Latter-day Saints. Also available are activities for individuals. These will be targeted towards young adults, millennials. We have youth activities, primarily ages 12 to 18. And here's the different categories there. And Kids Corner, ages about 8 to 12. And there's some notes for parents and leaders that you can click on or hide that. The language in the Kids Corner is basically for kids. So young kids can get on to the Family History Guide. They can read through the instructions and actually do the activities themselves without somebody having to do them for them. So it's a great place for kids to get involved with family history as well. Activities index, okay. Near the bottom here, we see index, and this is a little bit like the topics page because you have this alphabetical index that you can browse through. For example, save memories on smartphones. Okay, that looks interesting. So basically, you can look up just about any type of activity that you're interested in by topic and do it that way if you like. Oh, I also want to mention that there is before we get to youth pages, there is a planning sheet. So let me spend a little bit of time on that. At the bottom of the activities menu, planning sheet. And this downloads a spreadsheet, and you can download it to your, copy it to your personal device. It has all of the activities listed out one by one, and it's got columns here. So if you were doing family history activities or working with an organization or church group or whatever that were doing these, you could write in the date that you planned to or did have an activity, planning notes, notes for next time. You could rate the activity. So this is a tool where you can keep track of what's going on with your family history activities. All right, youth pages. So here, next to activities, we have a youth menu, and I'll go to the home page here. So it's got a great intro video given by youths and their leaders. And here you have a series of tiles, so you can explore finding ancestor photos and stories, family history activities, explore your tree, places and cultures, indexing, family history apps, and for Latter-day Saint youth. So these are all focused towards youth in order to get them interested and excited about family history. So we would definitely recommend that. One thing that's fairly new is we have, let's see, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, in the Latter-day Saints here, we have a new tile, ward and stake activities. So this is just up as of like a couple of weeks ago, but if you're into that, you could definitely take a look and see some wonderful activities that can be done on ward or stake levels that do involve the youth as well. Okay, let's hop over to the media menu. And in the media menu, we have a blog, first of all. So every Monday morning, we have 3 blog articles that come out. Here's the articles for this Monday. And you can subscribe to the blog over here. You can get it translated into a different language. You can even use the headphones. And I don't know why this is not showing up. There's supposed to be headphones where you can click. I'll have to see what happened to that option. So something for me to work on there, but you're supposed to be able to listen to the particular blog post as well.
I think it shows up when you actually click on the article.
Okay, but in my previous ones, they had the headphones off on the side. So something happened in the settings there. Yeah, so there is a voice thing. So you can get inside the article and find it that way. And I'll see what's going on with them on the outside as well. Okay, so that's blog. And then we also have Facebook. We have Facebook groups, YouTube channel. I'll show you that just briefly here. Yes, we know. So there's lots of different, there's playlists here, learning about the Family History Guide. Here's all the show me videos that we were talking about before, activities videos, inspirational, so forth. Lots of great tools there. Let's see. Twitter, we have a Twitter page, Pinterest, and Instagram. So that's our social media. Let's go to the Faiths menu here. And we have a Church of Jesus Christ series of pages. Here you have family search icons and policies, templates. So if you're interested in understanding what are the icons, what do they mean for temple ordinances, how do you reserve temple names, how do you print the cards if you need to, how do you find resources for names, ordinances ready, all of that type of thing is there. We also have a Come Follow Me companion. So you're familiar with the Come Follow Me program most likely, and in this 2022 schedule, I can click that and go to whatever week I want to, and we are like about here. So I can click that and I get a lesson that's family history oriented, but it's synchronized with the current lesson in Come Follow Me. So this is a great way to get some family history perspective along with the lessons that we're doing. And here you have activities, extra videos, and so forth. So a great way to integrate family history into your home-centered study. Okay, youth pages, we talked about those. Catholic page, if you're interested in doing Catholic family history, here are some links to articles and ways to get started. And there's also research by country for specifically Catholic records, so you could go through any of these and find resources that you need. Also up here, Protestant records. And if I do a closed choices, you can see all the different denominations here for research and records, and research by country, finding Protestant records in any of those countries. And a big shout out to Bob Ives. He's the one that got this off the ground because he did a conference in Alabama and he realized that a lot of the attendees there were Baptist and had a real interest in finding out about genealogical records for their particular denominations. So that was a good thing. Okay. Oh, and Jewish as well. Great resources there. All right. That takes us to the countries menu. Okay, so I go over to countries here. And as you notice, as we go down, we have these different regions here. So if I go to the British Isles, for example, and go to Ireland, I open up the Ireland country page. The goals are across the top, and you can see all of these different resources, links to articles, videos for doing your Irish research. Again, that's using a regional menu item here to find Ireland. If I wanted to find something in Scandinavia, I would just click that so you can get around anywhere you need to. The next option is using the All Countries page. So if I go here and go All Countries, then you've got an alphabetical list, so you could go right to Hungary if you needed to and find the Hungary country page. So pretty easy to do. There's also a More Countries link, and I'll show you how that works. So back in All Countries, if you don't find your country here in this list, then you go to More Countries and click that, and a giant listing opens up of different countries across the world. And these are what we would call smaller countries, not just geographically small, but they typically have a smaller number of records. So you're not going to find as much information about genealogy or family history here. So they don't warrant having a particular country page or set of pages themselves. It's more like a smaller section. So if I were interested in Aruba, genealogy, Bahamas, and so forth, and they're divided up by category and location. Ethnic research. Let's go back to countries. Near the bottom, ethnic. Oops, here we go. You've got African American, Asian, Basque, Hispanic, Jewish, and Native American. I could click Hispanic, for example, and lots of links to articles and videos for Hispanic research. These are topics that would apply to more than one country. So if you're just interested in research in Mexico or Spain or Colombia, then you would pick that country page. But if you're interested in something that applies to all of Latin America or Hispanic topics, then you would use the Hispanic ethnic page there. Countries knowledge base. Okay, at the bottom, we see we can go to all these different countries. Canada, church records, and here you go. Same type of idea, nugget size pieces of information that you can read, ponder, digest. Great for your research IQ there. And you can use any of these countries around the world for that. United States page. Okay, we're going to go here in the countries menu to United States. And this is the largest section of the family history guides. So we've got section A, B, C, D, E, and so forth. And I'm just going to spot a couple of items here. For example, let's go section C, census by decades. And here you can explore the 1940 census. If I do a closed choices here, here's all the different census decades, and you can click any of these and get some help with examples and so forth. It's pretty cool. One thing I might mention is that you see this I here. If I click the I, then it opens up to a list of subtopics. So rather than going to the top of this article, I could click one of these subtopics and it would automatically scroll down to where that item is found. So this is a good way to get inside a longer article where you see this I button there. Okay. Another thing to explore might be military by conflict, closed choices. You've got all the different wars, Revolutionary War, Civil, World War I and II, with links to articles, videos, and different resources. One other thing, we showed that information link. I'm going to go up here. Those info links are also available for videos. So here's an ancestry video, 5 things you should do with every record. If I click the info here, then I've got this list, but this takes me inside the video to a particular timing. So if I wanted to learn about examining an image, I could click that and I would hop. So you see, we jumped right to that particular topic inside the video, which helps you save some time and not having to, scroll back and forth or watch an entire video to get a particular thing that you're interested in. There's info links, state pages. Okay, so if I go up near the top, and we've got this alphabetical list of states. So I'm going to click California, that's my home state, and you've got your goals and choices. You're familiar with that, and you can learn all about the California research there. County links. So you see this in bold, it says CA counties. So if I click that link, I go to a list of all the different counties in California. This is my home county, Ventura, so I'm going to click that. And if you click the title, it gives you the Family Search County Resources page and opens up in a separate window. There's also, as the code says up here, pages for Ancestry, Linkpendium, Genealogy, Inc., so forth. Linkpendium is one that not that many people are familiar with, but I love it. It's a fantastic resource. So I'm going to click L for Linkpendium and look at the different resources that are there for Ventura County. I'm scrolling down and I'm barely to the letter M here. There's a lot of great information. So I would highly recommend Linkpendium for county resources. And these, of course, are proliferated through all 50 states. Every county in all 50 states has this list of links, and there's multiple links that you can choose from. Quick links. All right, so you may notice that up at the top here, some of these goals have lightning bolts, and that means that quick links are available. A quick link takes you directly to a record search page. So let me demonstrate that for you. Let's go to Vital and Census Records, and we're going to scroll down a bit here. We're learning about vital records, birth and adoption, so forth. Okay, this says FS California Birth Index. So if I click that, you'll notice that I go directly to the search screen there with tips on how to use the collection. I did not have to wend my way through a whole bunch of family search menus to figure out how to start searching for California birth records. One click is all it took. AC, Ancestry.com, birth records from select counties. I could click that and go there and start searching in particular counties for California birth records. So again, we have more. There's marriage record quick links, death index, census and voter records. There are over 1,000 different quick links in the Family History Guide. So lots of opportunities to learn about a particular topic. And then when you're learning about it and the iron is hot, so to speak, you can just go out and search right away. You don't have to add more work to your load and figure out how to find those record collections. They're right there, ready for you to access them. England, Canada, Australia. Something to mention there is you notice we had state pages for the United States. In England, we have county pages. So all of the English counties are represented there. I have some lines from Devon, so I could click that and go learn about research in Devon. Same thing with Canada. You get the provinces here. So if you're interested in Ontario, you could do research in Ontario, so forth, and Australian states as well. The vault. All right, so you may have noticed that in the Family History Guide, there's never really over 1 or 2 articles or videos per step. And we've done that intentionally so that we don't overload people with, too much right off the bat. But what if you're really interested in going into more depth on a particular topic? Then the vault is for you. So I'm going over here in the top menu, Vault, Main Page. And you'll see all these categories across the top. What if I just wanted to find every interview question I could find for interviewing people about their ancestors? Here you go. Dive in. How do I write stories? I want more information. What about storytelling? What about descendancy research? You can go on and on. Different countries, England parish records, articles, videos, the video icon here, or the articles. So this is a great place to find additional information that you might be interested in and might find useful. Online tracker. Okay, so the online tracker is the only place in the Family History Guide where you actually need a username and password, like a login. And that's because we're keeping your information that you enter secure. So first thing you'll need to do is register for an account. So you would click that and fill out the standard email, name, and password, that type of thing. And then once you've done that, then you log in, and sometimes Google asks me to do that twice. So here we go. Here is the online project tracker, and you notice it has all of the projects in the Family History Guide are linked in here. I'm going to go to project number 1, Family Tree. And here I've actually typed in some sample notes. These are just kind of off the top of my head. But all the choices are here. So you could go to a choice and say, okay, this is what I'm learning. Here are some personal notes for myself. And then you have these status slider bars. So you can set any of these from 0, like I haven't even started this, to number 1, I've started. Number 2, I'm good at it. Or number 3, I'm proficient. And how do you know whether you're good or proficient? Well, that goes back to the exercises that we demonstrated back in the learning paths. There's a good and a proficient level for each of those. So if you're good at that particular thing, then you can move the slider bar over here in the online tracker to correspond with that. Okay, so that's a handy way to keep track of your learning progress. Resource stars. So probably the best way to demonstrate this, I'm going to go back to project 1 and notice here that we have some stars. Some of these are darkened and some of them are not. And basically it's all customized. So what it means is if a star is darkened, it means that you have read that particular article or watched that video. So after I've logged into the online tracker, I can click a star and darken it or clear it if I've made a mistake. And so that gives you a glimpse of, oh, okay, I've done that. Oops, I haven't done that. I need to take care of that one later on or whatever. So back in the online tracker, how would you know across the entire Family History Guide website how many projects or how many articles and videos you've watched and read without having to scroll all over the place? You can do a stars report. So if I click stars here, in a few seconds, here are all of the different articles and videos that I have marked as read or watched, along with the date that I did that, and the links so you can actually go and open up those articles again if you want to review them. Now I've read more than these, but these are just the ones that I've marked in the online tracker, or excuse me, in the main part of the Family History Guide page. So stars is the way you see that global report. Trainer's menu. We're not going to take the time to go through that, but I would highly recommend if you're doing any type of family history training, you can basically build your own courses much easier and much quicker using the Family History Guide because you use the Family History Guide text as what you would display during the class. So you don't have to create your own set of PowerPoints and handouts and so forth, and you don't have to keep constantly updating them. You can use the material in the Family History Guide, which is kept up to date, and you simply display it and link to it. So the trainer's menu shows you how to do that, how to develop those courses, how to display and present. Even the Family History Guide, you can do that as well. In fact, this very presentation I'm doing now, you could use this presenting link here, and you could give a similar presentation about the Family History Guide. Contact us. Okay, if you have some congratulations, want to chew us out, have some suggestions, whatever you want, you can fill out this form and click submit, and then we will get to it typically within 1 business day, maybe 2 at the most. Sometimes it's within a couple hours. So we're glad to hear from you. That's a tour, and we ended right at 7 o'clock. We are so grateful for your support of the Family History Guide. We rely on donations because we're a nonprofit organization. Bob Eyes would love it if I showed you where that donate button is. It's right down here at the bottom of every page. You can click there and make a tax-deductible donation if you want to support the Family History Guide. But other than that, your willingness to share it, to talk about it, to keep it in the headlights, so to speak. We'll be at Roots Tech in just about 6 weeks, and we're looking forward to that. It's another opportunity for us to help the world see what the Family History Guide is about. Okay, so we have a number of chat questions. And
actually, we don't, but
okay.
I do have one comment to make. I'm looking over the people that are logged in tonight, and I've noticed that several of them, it looks like our new Temple and Family History Consultant Ward leaders. I think it might be helpful if you could spend another minute or two and showing the leaders how they could set up their ward using the tracker and reports.
Well, how about that? Okay, so the first thing to do is basically get in and find out what your calling entails and work with the church publications and so forth. We need to be careful that we don't portray the Family History Guide as the way that you are supposed to do your calling. The church instructs you on how to do your calling. However, we are a wonderful free resource that just about anybody can take advantage of. And many thousands of family history consultants and family history centers are using the Family History Guide. So to Bob Ives' point, we talked about the tracker. You can help other people. You can even print online tracker. This is one thing I didn't show here. It says there's a link near the top, says click here for blank online tracker pages. And you can turn it on here. Now, if I go to project number 1, all the notes are disabled. Basically, this would be like a checklist that you could print and hand out to somebody without any personal notes in it. But you could ask them to write down, okay, what do you know about this? How many are you familiar with? This is a great way to get a pre-assessment done. And then you can use the live tracker. As I go back here and flip that thing back off, then you can use the live tracker to actually go in and type the notes and so forth. So that's a good way of keeping track of things. There is a reports element up here, and I won't go into much detail. I'll leave it up to you, but there is a reports help, online tracker help that talks more in detail about it. But you can create a set of reports that basically will show if you create a group of users, could be a ward, could be a family, could be a neighborhood, whatever, a group of user emails, you can assemble those and then you can run a report against them. And all of the slider bars that those people have moved on their personal online trackers get collected and amassed into a report with these bars, like a bar chart. So you can see week by week what's happening with learners' progress on thousands of different topics. Anything that's in the Family History Guide can be reported on, but there are no personal names. It's all a group reporting. So that can be useful as well. Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm not seeing any other on chat. Thanks, Bob. Great as usual. And just remember that I put the link to the Family History Guide in the chat. And also remember that it is a free resource that you can use 24/7. One other little housekeeping note, again, since several of you are Temple and Family History consultants, or just anyone, next week's class, which is February the 1st, it will be Angel Anderson and a really energetic group. So if the title of the class is Youth Temple and Family History Consultants Share Ideas for Ward Activities. So this is going to be a kind of a new area for us to get into, but I know who these people are, and I'll tell you, it will be a really bang up class. It'll be really interesting where they get on and share a lot of ideas and successes they've had in their various wards doing family history activities. So thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
can I just interject something? So
Sure.
Angel and her husband Scott are going to be presenting on youth family history at RootsTech. They will be featured presenters, panel discussion, videos, and everything. So good stuff from the experts.
And to all of you, if you haven't signed up for Roots Tech, please go online and do so. It's a very simple sign up, and it's free, and you'll be able to find us there. We have a e-booth on there, and actually we have a number of presentations too, and a number of our staff have presentations this year. So having said that, good night to everyone, and thank you for joining us. And again,
thanks, Bob and Bob. Great
Thank you.
program tonight.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. I sent you an email. I hope you read it.
Okay, so good to see you.
Yes, it's great to be here.
Thanks
I'll
for
have to
keeping us going.
I have to confess, my wife and I went for a walk on the beach today. It was 60 degrees and sunny. Oh my goodness, it was so nice.
Well, I went skiing today, so I'm not up yet.
There you go. I'll go with that.
I just froze today.
Oh.
I got to go out and shovel, so that's enough of that.
All right. Thanks, y'all, for attending.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.